Shalom, this is a big back with another edification. I want to thank all of my subscribers, all 202. I want to wish all of my subscribers high health and high spirits, and I wish that my subscribers and your loved ones are safe and protected against these agendas that are waged against us here behind enemy lines. Now listen, today we're talking about hoes, harlots, 304s, prostitution, Gentile, so-called black, Latino, Native American, female, woman, man, and child, okay? These Gentiles, okay? They promote the doing away with keeping the law. That's what they promote, lifestyles of unfaithfulness and prostitution, okay? Now, I want to go into this real quick. It says female Mount Rushmore. And here you have a lot of 304s, a lot of prostitution, a lot of females that promote lifestyles of whoredom and promiscuity, and they do not value virginity. Okay, so go down in the comment section real quick. I left a comment that said that mountain stinks from here. All right, and a couple replies, like a female replied, and she said, "You." Okay. Other comments are similar. Mount Ratchmore. Let me see. Keep on going down. It says this is straight up duds. Magic City Rushmore, Mount Trashmore, and the Ratchet Beer Award goes to. And it says, let me see. Yeast infection, having hoes, right? That's what it is. Facts. All right. Mount Homore, stanky ratchet combo, right? And that's pretty much what we think about these Western female Gentile bums, okay? They promote lifestyles of misandry, okay? And they don't value family. They don't value marriage. They don't value their divine purpose, all right? These females are promoting lifestyles of prostitution. Now, I want to go up here real quick, and I had something up here, but I want to go here real quick before I try to find it, because America promotes whoredom, and these so-called black, female, Latino, Native American Gentiles promote the lifestyle of being served instead of being the help. So here it is, Genesis 2:18, and it says, "The Lord said, it is not good that man should be alone. I will make him an help meet for him." Okay, the female is the help, all right? I say on my channel that the men should stop helping females that no longer want to be with them, and stop helping females that are not your wife, and definitely stop entertaining females that do not want to be married, okay? Now, if we go here, I'm trying to look for it again. Let me see, harlot KJV. Okay, when I type in harlot on Google, it says a lot of important keywords. It says in the King James Version of the Bible, harlot refers to a woman who engages in prostitution, right? Or who is unfaithful in a spiritual sense, okay? And in a physical sense as well, okay? Now, it says often symbolized by idolatry, okay? And that's what you have here on this Mount Homore, is the idolatry, the worship of the lifestyle of a prostitute, okay? The prostitute traditionally has always been jealous of the married woman. The married woman was never jealous of the prostitute lifestyle or the whore lifestyle. But here in America, when these so-called black, Latino, Native American female Gentiles, or the non-Israelite Gentile woman does the same thing, they will pull the plug on their marriage, and they'll go back to the streets. They'll go back to the lifestyle of a hoe, okay? And they'll go out there and get ran through, run up a body count, thinking the grass is greener as a whore, and then they get back out there and get bitter and commit more misandry, right, against the guys, okay? And it ends up worse from there. But I say again, here in America, behind enemy lines, the religious Gentile female is the worst woman on the planet to try to vet and to filter to see if to determine whether she's marriage material or not. Most of them, most of these females, well, I'm gonna say this: all of the female Gentiles don't want to be in relationships. Why do I say that? Because their value systems won't allow them to serve their biblical purpose. They do not like being the help. Okay, they'd rather be a single mother than to serve alongside a man as his help. All right, and to support his purpose. All right, and this is why I teach on my channel that the guys keep the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of their ability to avoid these situations with these Western female Gentile bums, okay? Because they promote lifestyles of whoredom and they're not faithful, okay? And I have an anecdotal experience to share after I edify biblically, right? So it says the term also applies to a strange woman, right? And this is why before in my video I said that the so-called Black, Latino, Native American female Gentile is considered a strange woman and considered off limits as well when the Most High says do not make marriages with these non-Israelite females. I consider the Israelite female Gentile a strange woman as well, all right? And she's considered off limits as well when she's in her Gentile state, all right? Because she will indoctrinate those children with the doctrine of the non-Israelite Gentile Edomites, all right? The doctrine of Jesus and paganism and pagan worshiping and white superiority worshiping, okay? Now it says the term also applies to a strange woman or a woman who forsakes the true God, okay? And that will be your Gentile female. She does not serve the God of Israel. She does not consider herself an Israelite, and she will not consider keeping the laws according to her portion as a woman. Okay. Now, I like the definition of harlot because it doesn't go into any verses as far as reading the scripture, but it does give some verses as examples: Genesis, Deuteronomy, Hosea, and 1 Corinthians. Okay, strange women. So when I type here, all right, strange women or woman, okay, KJV. Okay, we're going to see what it says. We're going to go to Proverbs 53, all right. All right, it says Proverbs 5:3, and I use this in one of my previous videos. For the lips of a strange woman drop as a honeycomb, and her mouth is smoother than oil. Let me put my phone in airplane mode while I expound on this verse. I spoke with a female recently, and she was a Gentile, and because she was a bitter Gentile, and she had children from two previous failed relationships. Most female Gentiles are failures. They do not. They're not fit for duty. They're not fit to be helpmeets. They're too busy trying to usurp authority over the male. Okay, and their values are bitter values. All right, they already when they meet a new guy, they talk about stuff they're not going to tolerate. They always say things like, "Well, I'm not going to put up with bullshit. I ain't putting up with this bullshit. And I ain't going to tolerate this and that and disrespecting this and that." Okay, now the best way to get rid of one of these females is to expect her to be what she is looking for. So what I mean by that is usually these females over here are not rushing to be in relationships, and they'll have children or they won't have children. But since they promote a lifestyle of a harlot, of a prostitute, they're expecting the man to be a trick or a simp or a sucker, okay? So what I teach on my channel is that men stop renouncing your throne for these Gentile females. Stop being Prince Akeem and coming to America. It's a cautionary tale that these females over here in the West are expecting the man to serve her or to pursue her based on her intentions and her terms, okay? Me personally, I would never pursue a woman and try to establish myself with her based on her terms. I'm not doing that. So I'll give an example. Usually when these females meet a new guy, they try to, first of all, they talk too fucking much, right? And they won't shut up when they talk about the things that they don't like and what they're not going to put up with, right? Now, the values are where the bread and butter is as a man, because the female can't handle a man's value or his standard, right? So a woman wants to be in wants to let's just start with a female that's looking for a friendship. First of all, I know personally that females don't make good friends. They're not good friends. This is why they rather the man be the friend. They don't want to be the friend. They want the man to be the friend, just like they want the man to be on child support. She don't want to pay child support. She want the man to pay child support. The females don't want to pay the bill at the restaurant. They want the man to pay the bill at the restaurant. See that? So this is how important it is for a man to deal with a female from a position of power only. Okay? Me personally, I don't pay for experiences with females. They do, because they decide that they want to live these lifestyles. So they're going to pay for these lifestyles that they want to live. I don't sponsor lifestyles that females want to live. And a lot of dudes do these things and they find themselves being the simp and the sucker. Females in America, the Gentile females, they don't even want to get married unless the man makes a certain amount. They don't even want to have to work if they're getting married, right? If the man wants to have a family and marriage, she's going to extort him. She's going to make him pay for that. She wants him to pay for everything. Okay? Kevin Samuels exposed these females. He asked them how much of their money do they want to be required? What percentage of their money do they want to go towards the marriage? And they would struggle with this. The math would not be mathing. When these females are not in relationships or in marriages, they want to earn $100,000, $80,000, six figures, right? But when they want to be married, or when a man wants to marry them, the females all of a sudden they don't want to earn 80K, 100K anymore. So Kevin Samuels would ask them, well, right now you're not married and you're not in a relationship, so you're responsible for 100% of your bills. So when you get married, what percentage of the bills do you want to be responsible for? And she would say something stupid like 15%, 3%, 7%, 10%, right? So she would basically want to keep the majority of her money, and she didn't think it was a good idea for the majority of her money to go towards the marriage, right? So these females are always, looking at marriage like it's a business, okay? And this is not a good thing for men to do that, right? According to the Bible, a piece of paper can't say you're married, and a piece of paper can't say you're divorced, right? So the lifestyle of the female Gentile over here in America behind enemy lines, she rather get married according to the state, all right, because the state will have jurisdiction over that marriage over here in the West, all right, and this all stems from the lifestyle of the female Gentile, right, because the men are over here falling victim to the terms of these females, right? Instead of the females being the help, the females are looking for simps and tricks, all right? And they will undermine fatherhoods and things like that and destroy relationships with children, right? But we're just talking about the harlot. And we're talking about the values. And we're talking about how the men should avoid, matching of female values, all right? When you can avoid contact with her all the way around, and you can run her away with the standard of a woman being a wife. I'm not about to hang out with no females that are not my wives, okay? And they're considered strange women to me, all right? So it's like it says here in Proverbs 5 and 3. For the lips of a strange woman drop as in honeycomb, and her mouth is smoother than oil, but her end is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword. Right, and I watched a female on the internet the other day that took her husband to court because he wanted to have sex too much. And I said, this is ridiculous that these men have to subject themselves as adults to the parent of the state. The state is the parent. And I said, damn, these females are always telling the white people on the man. All right? So a covenant, sex as marriage don't hold no weight to these females. But a document that was typed up by the so-called whites, the Edomites, holds more weight. Females want to run to white people to tell on their husbands. So stupid. I would never get married again according to the Western contractual marriage, right? All right. Now, let's keep talking about this harlot, right? Now, I want to go into this because we're still talking about the value systems, right? And, when a woman says she wants friendship, first thing I do is say, well, are you trying to be my friend? And they say no. They're not trying to. They say not necessarily. You know why? Because it doesn't work like that in a school of the female bum. She's trying to look for a sucker and a simp, right? Now, let's go here. I know I'm offline. Hold on. I know I'm offline. Now, let's talk about the queen, right? Queen. The queen, Queen, right, was a wife. And the Quean was the prostitute, all right? It's always been the prostitute. Over here in America, behind enemy lines, the female Gentile, she lives the lifestyle of a Quean, who's jealous of the lifestyle of the Queen. So the men are being competed for in a trifling way. The whores have always been jealous of the men or the women that were married to the better men, right? Now, the Quean is these bums over here, all right? These bums are the Quean, right? That's who these females are. Now, let's see what the definition for them are. It says, a woman, low-born woman, all right? A low-born woman, right? That's these females. They're low, all right? These are some low-class females, right? Now, let's keep going. It says also female serf, right? A serf. A hussy, right? A hussy, okay? Old school female grandmamas used to say this. Old school female grandmother, old school women grandmothers that were wives called these prostitute or these dusty ass, females like this hussies. These are hussies. All four of these are hussies, and there's a lot more hussies that are not on this Mount Funkmore, all right? Mount Stinkmore, right? Prostitute, right? It says prostitute, right? Hussy, prostitute, right? It says as in a public woman, right? Public woman, like she for the streets. She come with the territory, right? You can find these females in any state of the United States. Lots and lots of these females. Very few women, plenty of these females running around America, right? Plenty of these females, right? Putting men on child support, setting them up, to be killed, booking them for fights. They only like these crash out Gentile, I don't even want to call them men, but they like these crash out males, right? Prostitute, all right? That's what this is. I'm going to title this video, Is This Your Queen? All right? Quean. Is this your queen? All right? I told you these females over here promote a lifestyle of whoredom. Their mothers are whores. Their grandmothers are whores. Their grandmothers did the same thing that these modern day females are doing because they learned from their grandmothers to to um, to hate marriage, hate being a wife, and hate a relationship, and to hate a righteous man, and to hate the relationship of a righteous man with his children, right? And to do the best they can to throw a monkey wrench in that relationship of that father with his child, right? Let's keep going down. It says, vain, worthless woman, right? Worthless woman, right? Worthless woman. These are some worthless ass females, right? Men, save yourselves from these worthless ass females, okay? Let me see here. And be happy that you're not their type, all right? Don't think that you want to take a turn having sex with them just because you think they're going around giving a lot of men a turn. Man, these some trashy ass, these some worthless ass females, right? These are your queens, right? Your worthless ass females, right? Okay. Strange women. Strange women. All right? Strange women. I just wanted to make a short and sweet edification. Hopefully somebody been edified. We done seen these hoes before. All right? We know these hoes are some jump offs. All right? What that masterpiece song used to be, freak hoes, freak hoes. Bounce that ass, make your knees touch your elbows, right? Man, listen, man. All right. When a female wants to be your friend, fellas, or Salakia, when a female says she's looking for a friend, then you need to tell her, oh, so you trying to be a friend, all right? Don't match her terms. You're going to see that these women are scared of a man's terms. They fear a man's value system. They're intimidated by a man's value system. This is why they get so upset when they first meet a man. They don't have no problem when they first meet a man. They have no problem showing how upset and uncomfortable and how bothered they are by a man's value system. I be shining on these stupid broads. And they run. They run from the standard. They run from the value system. If I'm not trying to be her friend, or if I'm not trying to pursue her based on her value system or her stupid ass term, then they don't want to have nothing to do with that guy. They'll get triggered. They'll act like it's a disagreement, right? They'll act like, well, you have a nice day. They don't want nothing to do with you when they don't want nothing to do with the guy that is pushing his values on her. They don't give a fuck about a man's value system. This is how easy it is to avoid these females. Never renounce your throne to get with one of these females. Be happy that you are not their type. All right? And with that said, I want to say shalom. I hope all of my subscribers, I wish all of my subscribers high health and high spirits. And I wish all of my subscribers and their loved ones are safe and protected against these agendas that are waged against us here behind enemy lines here in America. This has been a beat with another edification. Shalom.